Hello and welcome. This is Pussy, Mind and Soul, and my name is Sophia Thome. In this podcast, I invite amazing guests, creators, entrepreneurs, artists, people who combine spirituality and business. And one of them is KARLO, the guest of the show. KARLO is the creator and founder of Kalyss. And Kalyss is my new favorite jewelry brand, and maybe it will also become yours. It's about crystal, it's about fashion, it's about design, it's about how to follow our dream, how to live a purposeful life. And we had such a wonderful conversation. We talked a bit about the fashion industry because this we have in common. I used to work in fashion. KARLO has a background in fashion as well. He's a photographer and now also the creator of Kalyss. We talk about a spiritual awakening and how we can change our job after a spiritual awakening. We talk about the ups and the downs, the beautiful and also the not that graceful part about being a human, having a spiritual awakening, and living in alignment. So definitely go and check out his amazing jewelry and follow your heart. Hello and welcome to this new episode of Pussy, Mind and Soul. My name is Sophia Thome, and you can, if you are watching the video, you can see that I have a really big smile, and it's because I have an amazing person here next to me. I don't know you that long, but I feel a super nice connection, and I'm so curious to know more about you and to invite everyone to this wonderful conversation today with KARLO from, oh my God, you have to help me. I don't know how to pronounce your brand.
Kalyss.
From Kalyss. KARLO from Kalyss. Welcome.
Well, hi everyone. Oh, sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay. It's what sometimes happens when not being in the same room, but recording in the internet. Like we can interrupt ourselves every now and then sometimes. Yeah.
So hi everyone, and hi Sophia. Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to share my story, and
So, why Kalyss? What does the name mean something, and how did it come to you?
Well, as I believe there are no coincidences. First of all, the word has been made up by me. It means KARLO and Alyssa. Maybe you can see Alyssa is my dog that sits in my lap right now. I wanted to portray the love between her and I. I wanted to put the feeling of joy and excitement that I get every time I see her into every piece that I make. I wanted to share that with the world. But not so long ago, one client came to my showroom and she was really excited about the meaning of the name, even though prior to that, I didn't tell her what it means. She said that she Googled the word and discovered that it means the embodiment of a goddess. So that's what I said. There are no coincidences. So who knows? Universe is always taking care of us.
Oh my God, that's such a wonderful story. And now we can also talk about, for the people who don't know your brand or you yet, what you are producing and selling all by yourself, because it has a lot to do with the embodiment of a goddess, I would say.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm hand making and handcrafting crystal jewelry. Here are some of my pieces, as well the one I'm wearing. Another one here. I wanted to create a crystal piece that you can wear every day, anywhere you go. First, to enjoy all the energy and the power of crystals and bring the high vibrations to anywhere you go. And then, of course, to look good, because how the whole project started is that after my spiritual awakening, I wanted to be close to crystals as much as I could. And I would be carrying them in my pocket all the time, but that was not the handiest solution. So I wanted to find a crystal necklace. And since it was really hard to find something on the market that was both modern and cool looking, I decided to make it myself. And I made the first piece for myself. And actually, I made one for my sister's birthday. And I realized that I'm actually not that bad in making it. And that day I made the first piece, I really remember, I thought to myself, I'm gonna build an empire from this. And I'm gonna share this with the whole world, because I want crystals to reach as many people as possible, because I do believe in their power. I do believe in their magic. And I think it's gonna be a next crystal revolution.
A crystallution.
Yeah, crystallution.
That's so cool. And I mean, for everyone who's just listening, go to KARLO's Instagram or website and check out the pieces, because they're really unique. And I found you or your brand on Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, that's it. Yes, a crystal jewelry. It's bold, it's fashionable. It's not like this like dusty old esoteric look, but it's, as you said, like really modern and yeah, really cool. And I love the pieces. And of course, because of the properties of the crystal, and if you are someone who's open for spiritual topics and who's interested in it, it's not going to take you long until you find how amazing crystals are. But I think also the craftsmanship behind is amazing. Nah? I sometimes also do like fix things that are broken, or I get old things from my grandma and I try to make something new out of it. And can you also, because I studied textile engineering, so I really also have an awareness for the process of how things are made. And so I know that what you do, it's not like Polly Pocket something, but it's like really also, I think, high quality in the process of how you're making it. For example, I know that you're drilling the holes in some crystals yourself.
Of course.
Because that was something that I was like, how can he use the big crystals as a pearl? Like, where can you buy it? And I knew that it was not possible to buy.
Yeah,
so,
of course. Well, all my pieces are completely handcrafted, and I'm just a person like that, that when I have a vision of something, I need to go for it and I need to have it. So when I started this project, from that moment on, I started working on it every single day. And it took many errors until I found out the right technique, how to make exactly what I wanted to do. Many broken crystals, many broken drills, but I eventually got there, and I got my lesson that it's important never to give up. So yeah, I had this vision that I wanted to have this big crystal, the real big powerful piece, hanging here, or sometimes even included in the necklace. And I managed to achieve my vision, and I'm so happy and proud as much as I could be.
Yeah. Are you a Capricorn?
Well, isn't it obvious? I'm a Leo.
Okay. I'm a Leo too. So
yeah.
But I thought, okay, he's the persistency, you know, doing something every day. I was like, is he a Capricorn?
No, well, I used to be a dancer, a professional dancer, so I have this drill inside of me, you know, like being really consistent and dedicated to something you like.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, let's talk about what else you have been. So can you share a bit like a timeline? When did you start Kalyss, the project? And what did you do before? And how was the transition? And yeah,
Of
like a bit
course.
more practical in terms of time.
Well, I started working very early. I started working when I was still back in high school. I was doing photography, and then that hobby, as if I can call it a hobby, turned into a full-time profession. I started traveling when I was 18. I traveled to Ireland, where I was invited to work from one agency. I worked there for a couple of months and collected a bit of money. I came back to Croatia, quit my first semester of studies because I just realized that it's not for me. I don't like to do something that I'm told to do. I've always had my vision and I followed my dream. Therefore, I decided to leave Croatia and started traveling without any proper plan. I went first to Milan, as I said, as a photographer, where I did some shoots for the model agencies. And then there I stayed for a little less than a month. And I realized that Milan is definitely not my end station. So from there, I started sending emails to all the bigger cities in Europe, at all the fashion centers, and I traveled wherever they would invite me. So I was back then 19 years old, with not that much money in my pocket. Didn't know anyone in those cities, but I had so much fun, and I'm so happy that I had this experience because it built me up as a person, because I threw myself into something unknown. And from that tour, I like to call it, my little European tour, I landed in Berlin, and this is where I am now. Where I worked, all these years I worked as a fashion photographer, and which was a great experience, and it's still ongoing. And from this experience, I managed to collect all the knowledge and all the connections, of course, which helped me create my completely own project, Kalyss, and where I am able to connect all my knowledge from fashion world and connect it with spirituality. And I think this is what lacks in this niche and on this scene, to show people that spirituality can also look good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I didn't know it, and I'm super amazed because it's a really yeah, unique story. And wow, you have been so brave, so courageous doing that in such a young age. That's wow, crazy. Yeah. And I think it's also so nice how you can share already like the learning, nah? How when you look back, you can really see what it really was that you had the courage to throw yourself into the unknown. And it's always for me important to also speak to the people listening now. If you're listening now and you're not 18, in the position where you can quit studying, it can mean something very different for you. Maybe you are 31, 35, 28, whatever, but tapping into the unknown, throwing yourself into something really new and something you don't know yet, you can always do, no matter where you are and no matter what age and whatever. Né? And that's where the actual growth happens.
Yeah, and it's never too late, and it's never too early. If you have your dream, you should follow it, because that is your destiny. And if you throw yourself into the unknown, you are going to be guided, as long as you remove the fear out of the story. Mm-hmm. You just need to believe, and it's going to be served to you.
Mm-hmm. 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 And do you have an advice for how to remove the fear out of the story?
Well, of course, it's easier said than done. I think it's, of course, every person is different, but what would be my advice? Just go for it. Even if you fail, so what? Fails bring to the success sometimes, but at least you tried.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have some advice?
For how to remove the
Yeah.
fear?
I think it's easier for us to say because we are both Leos. So
Yeah, I think
sometimes we're a bit crazy.
I think maybe if we are so busy with trying to remove the fear, maybe don't remove the fear. Maybe
No, but just don't think about it. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you also have to face your fears. That's how you're going to get rid of it. And being aware of your fear is a step one towards removing it, I think. But I think it doesn't go like that. They just decide, I'm removing my fear, that's it. I think it's a whole process of working on yourself to be able to remove that fear, because you need to first love yourself, which is also a process for itself. There are steps to grow and there are steps to healing. So that's what I'm also trying to promote and inspire people to be truly themselves and love themselves, because that's going to bring you everything you've ever wanted in your life.
Yeah. And I think that's also important that you say this, because we can do everything also out of not liking ourselves, out of thinking we should be different. Like, I have to remove my fear now, can also be, you know, based on the intention of I'm not good enough with my fears.
Yeah.
And, what else? Something I had. Naja, I forgot. There was another point, but it will come back.
Yeah, but you know, even if you cannot remove your fear, that's why at least I'm trying to be here with my existence, if I can, to inspire people in any way possible. You know, that's what we should all do.
Yeah.
Inspire and motivate.
Yeah, yeah. And I can also really feel this. I can, while you're, I mean, maybe it's also our Leo connection, you know, but now that you are talking, I can really sense that you share what you really believe in, and you also make yourself vulnerable saying all these things, you know, like believe and go after your dreams and everything. But it is that. And yeah, thank you for showing up like this here. I think it's really, really,
thank you as well.
Really honest also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I wanted to say. Sometimes when we have a spiritual awakening, when I had my spiritual awakening, I was in a moment where I thought that everything I did before, I have to throw away. There was a time where I didn't see it that way, that I could just build on it, that not everything was bad, that it was a good process. You know, I was like, wow, why was I so dumb and did all of the other things before? I should have done everything different way earlier. And this is, I think, also in your work, it shows really practically that, yeah, you had a spiritual awakening, you realized a lot of things about yourself and about the world, and now you really want to change how you live and work. Doesn't mean that everything you did before is not valuable for what you want to do now.
Oh, of course,
and
because
your work, it's so obvious that your photography background now really helps you to make nice pictures, to have a really like developed sense of what your brand looks and feels like.
Absolutely. I think that all that we have done in the past has led us to where we are now. That's why not that we should be resentful of what we have done. We should actually be very proud, and even of our darkest moments, we need to be proud of them and embrace them, because we have come out of there and come to this light. You know, there are so many people who have been entrapped into this darkness and they never managed to escape, unfortunately. But sometimes you need to see the darkest of yourself to be able to rise above, like a phoenix. But what I wanted to say about my photography and my current project, I still am working as a photographer, but this project allowed me to be much more selective who I want to work with as a photographer, because what pushed me away from fashion in general was just certain people that I was encountering on set. Each time I would come, I was just not inspired by them anymore, because the conversations were just very low vibrational, talking about other people and just this toxic environment full of ego. But don't get me wrong, fashion is also really amazing. But you need to be really careful to set your boundaries and not be consumed by the whole industry. That's why I wanted to create my own fashion and continue with that. And I think I did exactly that. And I also managed to be fully myself, because if I stayed in fashion without Kalyss, I would sometimes need to lessen myself. You know, I could not be completely myself because these people would not understand it. You get it? There are not that many awakened and healed people in fashion, because it's just a very stressful environment where you don't even have time for yourself, let alone for working on yourself. But uh, we had luck in this whole bad situation called COVID, that a lot of us from fashion had time to finally reflect and sit down and breathe in and breathe out and realize who we really are. And I think that from that moment on, a lot of things have changed on personal levels, as well as business, as well as the whole world level. So, you know, I see this whole situation as something very positive, and I'm trying to see a positive thing in everything. And it's up to you if you're gonna see the bright side or gonna see the dark side. And yeah, you always need to take the best out of everything.
Yeah, see both sides. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was my experience in fashion. And you worked as a freelancer, nah? So you
Yeah.
came for projects, then you were shooting 1-2 days, 14 hours, and then you left again.
Yeah.
I was there every fucking day for 10
Well, I
hours.
had that experience as well, which I'm not really the happiest to remember. But you know, even that extremely intense environment, working as a full-time photographer for a production that I don't necessarily need to name, it was so intense. But I had to take the job because I just moved to Berlin. So, and even from that not that great experience, I still got the best out of it. But and I also escaped on time, because there are still some of the people working there that used to be my colleagues, and they really, I don't like this word, but they hated there every single day there, and they're still working there 3 years after. And this is really what I would like to inspire and motivate people, that if you don't like your job, you need to quit it, as hard as it sounds, but you need to get out of there, because it's ruining your life. It's not worth it. You know, if you hate every day of your life when you're at that place, then what's the point of living? I mean, it sounds hard, but you know, and there's always a way out. There is always a way out, but these places and companies just make you think like there is no way out. They make you dependent on them. They make you addicted on them. But there is always a way out. Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What did I want to say? Oh my God, I think everything you say is so valuable, and it touches so much, like, you know, a process that I went through also. My process was different, but I went through this as well. Yeah, this is what I wanted to say. I think it also depends a lot really on who you're working with. And I
Of
went like every day to a place where the people, the environment wasn't good for me. And that, like, I also want to say that I got out of there too, but for me it wasn't graceful. It took me a long time to not be ashamed about it. You know, what I really learned was to distinguish, was that my fault? Did I do something wrong? Or was I really, can I really also say I was around fucking toxic people?
Yeah, and that's a fact.
And it was really poor leadership. It was not me who was a bad employee, but it was bad leadership. But it took me years to not be ashamed because I thought I was not good enough. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I want to say. Like, or I want to add to what you're saying, that their way out can also be not graceful, with shame, with fear.
Well, my way out was also a very hard way out.
It was not, I'm free now. And
No.
1 month later, I was like, look at me, I'm a successful coach now. But I felt a loser. I felt judged by everyone who I left behind. And like freeing myself really from this, it took a while, but still I would do it again. And it was so worth it.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, of course, we also came out of that toxic environment. So it was hard to imagine that our way out would be just like this, you know. And we were also in a lower vibration, unfortunately, because of that place. So it took a while for us to recover and come back to where we are naturally.
Yeah, and that's also something what I learned. Like, it's not just that I was in a toxic environment, but the toxic environment was also inside of myself. And just because I left the place,
you became a part of it.
Yeah.
And you know, I worked there for 2 years, and I saw that I started becoming a part of that environment, and my flame inside of me was just diminishing by each day of staying there. And at one point I said, it's over. I'm not gonna spend my birthday here, goodbye. And I left. I just went for vacation and I was gone. But from that moment on, it was a little struggle with myself, defining what do I want to do, how will I get there, because it's not that easy from one day to another to start freelancing and all of a sudden be there, because we know how competitive and hard that world is, and just being thrown in there was not that hard, but at the same moment it was motivating for me to work harder and shoot better editorials and photos, and that's exactly what I did. And in 1 year I was exactly where I wanted to be.
That's so cool. Yeah. So where do you want to be in 1 year from now?
From now, well, I'm already very extremely grateful and happy where I am now. But in 1 year, I would like to be somewhere warm, somewhere sunny, and I want to be even more free. You know, when I had this crazy experience of my spiritual awakening, I realized that everything is connected and we have chosen everything in our life prior to coming here. Therefore, I wanted to investigate what the meaning of my name means. So I went to Google and searched my name meaning before it became popular on Instagram Urban Dictionary. And I saw that the meaning of my name means kind, free man. And I could not describe myself better than free man. Freedom means everything to me. And freedom is our natural birthright, but it has been taken away from us without us even realizing that. Therefore, I want to be completely free in all means possible. I want to be joyful and happy, and I want to be dancing every single day, you know, and these are the feelings that I want to be guided by. I'm not gonna say I want to be this successful or that successful. I want to sell here or there. I just know how I want to feel, and I surrender to the flow of the universe, and I know that I'm gonna be guided to the highest possible timeline. That's my answer.
Yeah, freedom is also one of my most important values.
Yeah.
Free, and that's also something that I want to sell to my clients. And in coaching, it's like super important, you know, that when I support people as a coach, they're not becoming dependent on needing to work with me always. I want that, yeah, I support them, and afterwards they can go and they don't need me anymore.
Yeah, you want to facilitate the healing within themselves. You want to show them that they can actually do that all by themselves.
Yeah, if they have a few more tools, and the tools I give them, but then they know how to use the tools by themselves.
Yeah, well, that's great, because in a way you're a healer as well.
Yeah. When I had my spiritual awakening, and I remember how was the moment in my life where I realized that I was born a healer. This was the spell on me. I was in Kopangan, it was raining, and I was walking in the rain, in the tropical rain in Thailand, and
in there, Kopangan.
And I realized I was born a healer, and I cried so much.
I also had that realization, and for some time, that was prior to Kalyss. You know, I wanted to be a healer because I realized that I have so much to share with people, and I just love people and working with them, and I love helping them. And I wanted to do some kind of healing work, but you know, since I always used to be creative and I love to do things with my hands, I said to myself, I need to do something creative. But at that moment, I was not sure what it was. So I spent some 2 months just working on myself. I spent the summer meditating and raising my vibration. And while doing that, I asked for something that I will be good at, and that I can do something where I'm creative and where I can also do something good for the humanity. Because being only a fashion photographer is not really extremely beneficial for the well-being of the whole planetary health. Therefore, I just got guided into starting this project, and I cannot be more grateful for it, because it has already brought me to the most amazing people and the most amazing places. And it's been only 1 single year since I started the project. And in 1 year, as you asked me, I cannot even imagine where it will take me.
Yeah. And I think that's also like something we can learn from your story and live in our way, that we don't need to know what we want to do next, but sometimes we just focus on taking care of ourselves and making space. It can also come to us, and the way it comes, it doesn't always need to be loud. I don't know if I know you said for you, you knew you're gonna build an empire with this, but sometimes something comes and it's not loud, and you just start doing it, and only after a while you realize, wow, that's it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, this came to me after it came like in a quiet way, but then it became really loud very fast. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be healing or jewelry. It can be anything for you, but it's just connecting with your higher self, with your higher purpose. And I'm not saying that what I'm doing right now at the moment is my end station. Who knows? I'm really curious to discover more about myself, because I have a feeling like we have only scratched the surface, because we had this global awakening only maybe 2 years ago. Like, look around you, the world has changed completely since COVID, since many people have realized certain things. And that's also one of them, is that the people above us not necessarily want the best for us, and we needed to start taking care of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so right. And it's, I cannot even grasp how everything belongs together, how everything is interconnected. So I don't try to understand how everything is interconnected, but that what you just said, look around. If I just look around, okay, who's the person I talked to yesterday? Like, who are the people I interviewed yesterday? Like, everybody has a crazy awakening story that happened in the last 2 years. And this collectively and globally, of course, it's like, I don't know where we're going, but something has changed, and the path where we're going has also changed a lot.
Well, there is a lot of backstory that I could talk for days and days. But we can leave it for another conversation, perhaps. But yeah, I think you're seeing the awakened people because you have had your own awakening, so you are attracting that kind of people. But on the other hand, I can say that there are still a lot of people who have not had anything close to it and will maybe not even have it in this lifetime, which is also okay. You know, there have been many souls coming to this planet for different kinds of experiences, and some of them need to have many more of them until they reach the point where they will realize certain things.
Yeah. Well, I am here waiting, and I'm looking forward for everyone.
Yeah, me too. You know, I like to think to myself, this is my last time on Earth. I'm done with this. I'm ready for the 5D. Bring it on.
The grand finale.
Yeah. But you know, this is also what we are talking about now. Really was one of the things that motivated me into getting connected with crystals, because I realized that there are so many things changing in the world, and there are so many things we are heading towards, that I wanted to raise my vibration as much as I could on a daily basis with any tools possible. And crystals showed like an amazing example.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there is something called spiritual hygiene, and you can call yourself spiritual because it's a cool thing to call yourself these days. But if you're not putting in the work, it means nothing.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
a constant work.
Yeah. That's why, for example, I think the work of a yoga teacher is so honest, because you have to go to your mat and practice. There's no cheating. You cannot do anything. So a 90-minute practice is there in 30 minutes. It's a 90-minute practice.
Are you also a teacher?
No, I'm just a student.
Okay. Well, getting there.
I don't know if I will ever teach yoga, but yoga is for me a really big piece of my life. The first time I went in a yoga class, I knew I'm gonna do this forever. My yoga mat is right here. I practice every day, nearly. Maybe when I'm my period or so, I practice in a different way. But like, I love yoga. And
yeah, I mean, it's like brushing your teeth. It's not, you know, something. It should be normal, and more people should get introduced to it. Not only yoga, but we can start with meditation, what I recommend to everyone. And this is really gonna free you up and change your world completely. Just realizing what kind of thoughts go through your head every single day, because your thoughts become your words become your character, and your character becomes your whole life. So first you should be careful what kind of thoughts you have through your head. That's why I said I don't like to use word hate. I stopped using it since a couple of years ago, and everything in my life changed. You know, I always used to think like, oh, these people that don't curse, they make me feel uncomfortable. But why would you use these words? Because they truly do become your reality. You should just like, and it becomes not so hard after all. But yeah, I think you should be very careful what you're talking about.
Yeah, totally, totally. And that's why, if I can make some advertisement for coaching, that's why it's very beneficial to be in a coaching process, because if you work with a coach who knows what they're doing, they're going to mirror to you the words you're using and what you're saying.
Of
And
course, it's very important.
I like it less. Oh, you're still there? Ah, yeah.
Sorry, you froze.
Yeah. But that's okay. The internet was a bit unstable.
Yeah, all good.
Anyways, I think you said so many really amazing things already in this podcast conversation, and I can really feel how you're speaking from your heart. And you really gave me in the last minutes here, or in the last hour, I don't know how long we were talking, but you really gave me a boost of motivation, and you reminded me on, okay, that's the way, that's the clarity, here's where we need to go. And I really want to thank you for that. And also I want to ask you again, so if there's now someone listening, she is stuck, or she thinks she is stuck in like an environment that she doesn't feel that comfortable. She knows she needs to change. She can really feel like this is not what her life was supposed to be. She has another plan. She has to do something else. And now is the time to do what she's here, what she's meant to do. Nah? So yeah, if there's someone listening in this moment in her also career path right now, what do you feel?
Or his. Or his, or theirs. And I would like to add to everything what I've said. It's not all honey and milk, or however you say it. You know, you're also very much allowed to have bad days. We all do have it. We're still human beings. But all of you listening and thinking of a change, deep down in yourself, you know what's right to do. And you should always listen to your guts and just do it. Just do it, because later, if you don't do it, you're just gonna regret wasting your time and energy on places and people that don't deserve you. Don't do it. Don't waste your shine on people that don't deserve you. We all need to realize how magical and special we are, because we are all special in all our differences and all our imperfections. So go for it, follow your dream, and do what you know feels right, what you're destined to do. And if you don't know what it is right now, just breathe in and breathe out, have some peace and quiet, and it will come to you. Maybe start writing, start journaling, and all of a sudden the idea is going to come to you. You just have to feel good and happy. And in that safe space of feeling happy and joyful, you are able to create. Otherwise, if you're constantly stressed, that's not the state of creation. And that's it. It's not that hard.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your words and for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And for creating these wonderful pieces of jewelry, and for that you keep going. And I love every time I see a post and the necklace that you make. And from my heart, I wish you that much more magical things are going to happen for you on your path, and that your expectations are going to get exceeded every time you do something, that life surprises you with something that's even better than you could imagine.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
So this was KARLO from Kalyss on Pussy, Mind and Soul. My name is Sophia Thome. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you got some motivation out of it. I remember when I had the conversation with KARLO afterward, I felt so good. I was like, all right, let's go, let's do it. And I hope that listening to this podcast also helped you a bit to be centered again, to be reminded on what's your path and your way. And I wish you lots of love and a lot of joy following what's your way.